How's work
He's
going?
just lost without a secretary.
You call someone in to say, hey, do it, the audiovisual. But now when you have to do it yourself, it's...
It's a pain.
How's your new job?
Are we doing it yet over there?
Do we need Mac to come in?
I thought you went back to work. You just went back to work?
Yeah, I think we're out.
Oh, all
I
right.
think we are.
That was always my.
I see the surge.
Oh, yeah. I've got to get on new projects, I guess.
But before the bunch had started recording, you figured when I switched to live.
My legs are still,
Well, that's the time.
but I don't
Should
think.
these be?
This should
No, you're good.
No.
See, we have
Before I had to say,
Okay.
It's almost a majority.
You need a
Yeah.
majority.
Okay, that's good to know.
Should be a majority.
No, no. I'm asking.
So,
Need 5 people with
Well,
brains.
some of us go both ways, you know, so it's,
Really?
I can't disclose it.
we'll deal with that then. Is that thing on yet?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Great comments.
Great job.
Great job, thank you, John. Okay, I'm going to call to order the Thursday meeting, October 16th, of the Charter Commission for the town of Harwich. Call to order. All 8 members are here. Just to announce that Tony London has resigned.
Oh.
So we are missing, so we have an open spot. We will get to that later in the agenda.
Okay.
So, all right, so next on the agenda, approval of the regular minutes. That is supposed to be October 9th.
Move to approve.
Yep,
As amended.
Second.
okay, so we had Sandy, Judith. Were there any comments on the minutes for October 9th?
Only on, you have revised 1010 on the heading.
Oh, the agenda was revised on 10:10.
Okay.
Any comments?
No comment.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Okay, next on the agenda is a discussion with the Finance Committee. Mr. McCready, if you'd like to come up to the table and call your
First witness.
first witness.
Sort of. Please raise your right hand.
Hello, I'm Bob McCready, the current chair of the Finance Committee.
You gotta open your meeting.
And, pardon?
Open your meeting.
Got a call to order?
Yes, I'm going to.
I'm sorry.
And I would like to call a meeting, the
Control
6:30
problem.
meeting of the Harwich Finance Committee to order. I would like to do I do have a quorum, and I would like to do a roll call of the members that are sitting here in the audience, starting with Dan.
Dan Schwartz,
Dana DeCosta?
Michelle Galucci.
Scott Norm.
Mark Peterson?
Tina Gaines.
Thank you very much. We had asked, and it's been suggested, we had sent in a comment letter to the Charter Commission, and it's been suggested that I essentially read, or at least the parts related to comments of that letter, so as to get them on the tape and television, whatever record of what we commented. So I will in fact go about doing that. At which point I will then entertain any questions you have concerning that letter and open, ask for any comments. I know that some of our members had in fact expressed an interest in coming to a meeting because they had, independent of our comment letter, they had questions that they would like to ask. So the Charter Commission had requested that any changes that the Finance Committee had requested that any changes that finally the Charter Commission intends to recommend with regard to the Finance Committee's component of the Charter, we would appreciate it if you would in fact discuss those with the Finance Committee before finalizing your votes on that. With regard to section comments, first, in chapter 2, we asked that it be clarified that the Finance Committee has responsibility to make recommendations on all articles that are included in the warrant, not just the finance-related articles, which is currently the way the wording in the charter indicates. But past practice is, I think as long as people can remember, past practice has been that the Finance Committee makes recommendation on all the articles in the warrant. In Chapter 4, we're recommending that be included in duties be that the duty to maintain a 5-year operating forecast by the town administration. And then moving to Chapter 9, excuse me, we're recommending that Section 1 include that the Finance Committee may hold meetings with division directors, department heads, and town agencies during the course of the year to maintain a current understanding of financial conditions and any material changes that have taken place affecting revenue or expenses. Also, that the finance director be identified specifically as an ex officio member of the Finance Committee and be expected to attend our regular meetings on a regular basis. In Section 9, we would like to add the following sentence before, quote, any person, that if the moderator shall fail to fill the vacancy within 30 days after being notified of such, the remaining members of the Finance Committee may in fact fill the vacancy by majority vote. We've gotten fairly frustrated, as I think other committees have, at openings on vacancies left for 4 months, and would like to be in a position to be able to fill a vacancy by our own vote if we can identify a person that makes sense. Also in Section 9, that the financial assessment presentation should be to a joint meeting of the Select Board and the Finance Committee. We make a few comments related to this, primarily related around the idea of trying to move the whole budget process forward. And some of the easiest ways to do that, in our view, is to have joint meetings for these presentations, not to have a presentation to the Select Board of a topic and then 3 weeks, a month, whatever goes by before it's in fact identified specifically that it has to be passed on to the Finance Committee. It doesn't seem that there's any particular reason to have that open period when you could accomplish the same kind of information transfer by just having a joint meeting. That the assessment presentation should include reference to current year estimated revenues, anticipated material changes in the proposed budget from the current year, and be in sufficient detail as to encourage robust discussion. This is really, again, just trying to indicate where presentations are being made, and there's actually some wording in the charter that seems perfectly good. I hope that it actually, some of our comments not included here, is just the general importance of enforcing the charter the way that it, in many cases, actually reads currently. But that where presentations are being made related to the budget, that each one should in fact be quite robust with regard to the information being communicated, and not at times fairly not really communicating much information at all. Again, in Section 9, the budget should be presented, same kind of topic. The budget should be presented to a joint committee, to a joint meeting of the Select Board and the Finance Committee. That the budget presentation should be moved. We're indicating at least the end of January. I've heard comments that even earlier would be nice, certainly would be nice, but with not getting too aggressive, all we're asking for is the end of January rather than later. It was nice to see in the current timeline that has been put out for this year that there does seem to be good faith attempt to move a number of the components earlier in a calendar, which is great. I think that right now this transfer of information is set for February 2nd, which isn't the end of January, but it's progress, I believe. And then again, the budget itself should include details of all revenue components. One of the things that mostly gets referred to in many comments, in general, when people make comments about the budget, and a lot of the documentation that gets distributed in general is all about expenses, and really there's not as much communication of the revenue components as we believe there should be. It's certainly an important part of the operations of the town, and doesn't really seem to get the attention that we think it ought to get. The budget should include a 5-year debt forecast. I think that's mentioned in the charter, but we don't seem to really focus on the whether it's 5 years or actually even more, focus on the importance of on the oncoming railroad of debt to the town and its impacts. That should include estimates of new debt and the 5-year debt service required. Actually, again, that while we're just saying 5 years, because that's kind of the planning time frame, that it would actually be useful if all of the debt-related components, including debt service, were scheduled out we understand with estimates that things that are not yet on the calendar, we may not know, the town may not in fact know the final numbers or the final interest rates or whatever, but the getting across to the taxpayer, available to the taxpayer, the scope of the impacts that debt may make in the future seem to be, to us, to be very important and not particularly addressed as being important by the town historically. The budget should include a 5-year capital outlay plan that includes estimates of all the capital expenditures. I think again that's indicated in to some extent in the charter that what we've been doing for a capital outlay plan, I think has had its issues in recent years, and more focus on the importance of that plan as a planning tool and trying to make sure that it includes all of the items that it should, and not items that it shouldn't, and be utilized as a planning tool and not simply as a free cash tool, if you will. I think that's about it. I think that's about it.
Any questions from the commission members? Comments? Richard?
Bob, could you expand on your wish to meet the Finance Committee with the department heads, discuss budgeting on a yearly basis, and how you plan on doing that?
Well, I think that it's really, the comment is really simply trying to get, as a matter of charter, the capability of doing so without running across obstructions from town administration or other components, for being able to talk to what I know that the charter goes through a whole litany of different alphabet soup about what we call the heads of different groups, but basically department heads, without it being a issue. We do so at budget time regardless, but there certainly may be times during the course of the year that it would be helpful to invite, with notice to the town administrator certainly, but helpful to invite the head of any number of any particular departments in for an update, really, or whatever, if we become aware of there being some particularly material change or topic that's come to the town. I don't have any basis to speculate on what that might be, but a reason to say, gee, let's get an update on whatever from the department head, and be able to do so without it being some sort of political issue.
And just so you know, we've had some robust discussion in terms of the role of the select board, the role of the town administrator, and access to employees, and who controls that access to the employees, and how it's done. So I think if we're going to have this discussion moving on, we need to be careful of how that access is, so that, you know, 8 members of the finance committee cannot go in and speak to a department head at any time that they want. You know, there's got to be a process put there that still has, through the gatehouse of the town administrator, to establish that relationship.
Yep.
And we don't want to say politicized at all, but in at least our initial discussions for the first 6 months, we're looking at what the roles of the different groups are, and who controls what, who runs day-to-day, who runs policy, and there's got to be a gatekeeper somewhere.
Yes, and certainly should be in our context, that most any contact should at least go through the chair of the committee, but there may be reason that a member be pointed in a direction, could be a liaison, that as you know, that Finance Committee has liaisons to essentially all the departments, and could very well be that for some reason it's appropriate to direct on some particular topic the liaison to interact with the town administrator, and expect to be able to interact with the department head.
If I may, just as a follow-up.
But I was just going to say that I think that what I'm reading here or hearing is that having the department heads come to the finance committee meeting, not the individual members going into the departments.
But still scheduled through a town administrator, and that is, you know, we've had a very long discussion about that.
Yep.
You know, there still needs to be a process, and because things may not have been done according to the charter in the last few years, pick a time frame, that the charter will now have some guardrails and some compliance, so that we can't look back and say, well, it wasn't done in the past. Well, we're going to create some guardrails so that it is done, and that what is in the charter is somehow going to be enforced. So that's our goal, I think, anyway.
And I
But you're
think-
right, that,
Go ahead.
Ms. Chair, that the comment here is intended to be, as we do later in budget season, ask various department heads to come to the finance committee to discuss their budgets. It's analogous to that process, yes.
Dana's about ready to have a breakdown here. He's
Don't-
raised his hand like 6 times. Come, either come up forward, bring your
Here,
chair
Dana.
up or something.
Just quickly, I wanted to just add on to that we have policed ourselves whenever we've had discussions with the selectmen about meeting different departments, that we've said it will always go through the chair, and we've always been good about that. This request probably wouldn't have come up at all. Past practice was that we were always able to speak to department heads, and those kind of things happened regularly, but then it stopped. Case law, Massachusetts case law and Massachusetts law allows finance committees to talk to department heads and so forth. So however you have to work that in, we'd like it to be there. We don't have to resort to legal things to try and get it back. We just want it in there, and we want it available to us, that's all.
Thanks. That makes sense, and I think that as we talk, you know, because we'll have the select board and town administrator come up in subsequent meetings, I think we really do have to think about, if Mass General Law says it's okay, we can't un-okay that.
We just need to create a process with guardrails. And that there, again,
We need to create the words as to how it says, absolutely.
Exactly, and in no disrespect to any committee, whether it's our committee, or your committee, or another committee in town, is that it cannot be freewheeling, I've got access to any department at any time that I want. You don't. We don't. There's a process. And that once the charter should establish a process for how people gain access to the employees.
Yes, agreed, and I think we have talked about that. Judith?
But are you talking about the town administrator being a gatekeeper for when they can or cannot meet? Is that,
No, not me.
is that what you were?
They requested, but the request to go through the COO basically, is what happens.
As a function of making the schedule, or as a function of agreeing whether or not there is a meeting?
Thank you.
Basically scheduling.
Well, no,
No,
That's
it's-
different, that's different than
Yeah, I'm a
gatekeeper.
very
Well, no,
concrete
no,
person, and I just wanna make sure I'm understanding you.
Well, here's what I want. I don't want, for instance, we have an 8-member right now charter commission.
Yeah.
And if we want to go speak to a department head, we've requested people come in, we're at, committees come in, but employees are a different scenario. Committees are one thing, you've got employees, they're under, we've had this discussion of looking at organizational charge. Who is in charge of who? Who reports to who?
But I don't think that's the issue. You're using the word gatekeeper, and I think Judith is asking, if I can paraphrase for you, Judith, I think she's asking, does this mean that the Finance Committee, as an example, can say, we'd like to talk to this department head, and they ask the town administrator for, to schedule that? Or are you saying the town administrator gets to say yes or no?
No.
Okay, so gatekeeper is not the right word here.
Okay.
Schedule, however you want,
Schedule.
whatever word you want to. The
Liaison.
bottom line is it's just not Dana and Bob and Tina decide to go
Showing up.
meet with the tax collector without going through the proper channel to do so.
Yes, but it's not but you're not intending it to say the town administrator gets to say yes or
However you
no.
want to word it, whether it's a schedule or.
I'm looking for an answer here, yes or no.
You heard my thoughts. I want someone to schedule it.
I'd say
If
that's
they're
a no.
looking for someone, if they're looking to have a department head come in, they're scheduling it through the town administrator.
Okay,
Not
and I'm
through
good
the
with
Or through
chairman,
the town
not through-
administrator's office, if
Yeah.
it's just scheduling. I mean, it's a formality. Or is it a decision of the town administrator in your mind?
If
Whether
we
or
spell
not
it out,
that
if
meeting
if
can
we spell it
happen.
out in the charter, they have access. He is scheduling it out. What I'm concerned about, and we've had it happen past practice,
Right.
of too many people having access to department heads that certain people are not aware of, like the town administrator or the assistant town administrator. Oh, well, I was speaking to the department, I went in to see them the other day. That's where the gatekeeping comes in. We had a very long discussion about this.
Yes, we did, but I think we're belaboring the point, which is put into the charter that the committees, the town agencies have an ability to access department heads to come in and talk to their committees to discuss a topic.
Through the town administrator.
Through the town administrator's office. And maybe
Scheduling.
Scheduling, and maybe that,
Wordsmith.
for me, as a reader, makes the difference. If it's coming from the office of
And
the
to be
town
honest with you, I
administrator.
don't want the office, I don't want an administrative assistant saying, sure, we're gonna schedule something without the town administrator knowing. And what you're saying is the office can schedule something up. I don't want the office scheduling it. I don't want one of two administrative assistants saying, sure, we're gonna set up an appointment with the tax collector or the finance director and the finance committee.
Okay. What I'm hearing is, and I still don't think Judith has an answer yet. So Judith, if you will say, town administrator will do the scheduling, is that satisfactory?
Yes.
Is that
With
satisfactory?
the understanding that the town administrator cannot say
We'll work on the
no.
wording at another time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
That is not
that's why I don't want to
satisfactory.
keep going.
Right now, it's not satisfactory, go ahead.
My
Yeah. I
understanding,
understand what you're saying, but we have to find the right verbiage so it doesn't get
Right.
misinterpreted
Yeah.
by the town administrator in the future that may think otherwise. For example, just to, yeah.
So I think that, yes, the wording, we have to, one of the things for the public and for the Finance Committee is we're trying to keep to the concepts as opposed to getting into the verbiage, writing, put the in there and the this and that. We're not getting into the wordsmithing at this point. We're getting into the concepts. So I think we're getting over into the concept here. Yes,
I can add
Lou?
to that.
Oh, please do.
Last week, what I heard, unless I heard incorrectly, was that we give the concepts or what we would like in a direction to the consultants. They're the keeper, they will put the words in, then they come back to us. So we don't need to really get way down into the weeds of, what the shall mean. They will come up with that, give it to us, we can make that. Get your concept, but I have 2 points if I can make them, that I need to.
Absolutely.
2 questions, okay. One, could you give me or give the board here, the commission, some thoughts on why all articles versus just financial articles?
If you don't mind. If you don't mind,
No,
stop.
not at all.
He's been away too long.
That's another one that's supported by state law. Finance committees can look at all articles and make a recommendation on them all. It's also been something we've been doing for decades. It's also something that used to be specifically worded in the charter. But lately, especially under the past administration, it got muddied. So we're just asking for it to be clear that we can. We have statutory authority to be able to make a recommendation on any article.
You're a
Okay.
neutral body.
Question on this.
Go ahead.
Why would the finance committee need to make recommendations on zoning bylaws or, a variety of other things that are not financial? What's the rationale?
There's 2 answers to that. One is how we make our recommendations. We could just say recommended or not recommended. It could be that simple without any kind of explanation or anything like that. A lot of towns do that. They make recommendations in every article, but some of them just simply say recommended, not recommended. We haven't decided to go that way. We have decided that we wanted to say what we're supporting and why, so we would put that in there. Zoning regulations have a lot to do with the town and could potentially affect finances, and we would want to weigh in on those. That's the way we're doing it now. We're discussing those things as well under all these changes that are going on and deciding ourselves what we want to do for this spring's town meeting. Do we want to just take the simple way out? Because it's a lot easier for us to just say, yeah, recommended, not recommended. Or do we want to continue to work at it and understand it and know what we're reading and say, this just doesn't do what it attempts to do? You're going to get into wordsmithing and actual language later. We're going to be making a recommendation on the charter changes, right? We're going to read them.
Right.
No,
No.
this does not go
This
to
goes
town
straight to-
meeting.
this goes
Goes
straight
to
to
a ballot,
Well,
straight to ballot.
straight to ballot, but we're going to discuss it. We're going to have our opinion out there. It's just stuff that we are a 9-person appointed body. It's a different set of language. You and I have sat on both the policymakers and the finance committee and just know that sometimes we have a different point of view. And a lot of times town meeting want to hear those 2 points of views, or anybody on any subject wants to hear those 2 points of views so that they can hear both
I
sides.
think
There is
we've
go-
always had a different point of view on this very issue, though.
Yeah.
It's a question of whether
Isn't that great?
or not. And yet we still get along, isn't that?
Isn't that wonderful?
But why is it necessary for the finance committee to get involved? It's a lot of extra work and bylaws and zoning and certain other kinds of things don't involve finances unless, I mean, some of them in the most indirect way, but mostly don't.
How much of the, I'm going to jump in and say, 2 things. One is which the charter, that if there is a positive, if the finance committee has voted to support an article, they make the positive motion. If they stop having a positive vote on something, then that will fall to something else will happen. So I think it's a little bit,
It doesn't really answer the question.
but there's also the issue that, as we have seen parts of the charter parsed, and our favorite one is shall is advisory. There are articles that are in a warrant that are very clearly financial, the budget, the capital plan. There are some that are clearly not. But if you start getting into the interpretations of which is financial and which isn't, even indirectly, I think we're going to end up in the same issue of the weaseling of words.
I think that could be defined.
Perhaps, but I
it
think
could
that
be
we're
defined.
hearing from a committee that they'd like to do all the articles.
Well, it's essentially, or to an extent, and, you know, Dana's got his comments. I don't happen to feel as strongly as some members about it. But,
Hey, excuse me, we have a code of conduct, please. And we
And compliance.
And we have a sense of humor.
exactly.
If I hear code of conduct one more time, I'm gonna kick him under the table.
Let me get closer, so.
But
All right,
I
the two of
wouldn't.
you. All right, enough.
part of the distinction, part of the request for clarity is just that starts with just that reality, long-term reality has been one thing. The charter says something different. Let's make the two consistent. We simply, after discussion, voted to support making it making it clear to be consistent with current practice, that there was no need to change current practice. And actually, you make a good point that if we changed current practice, it would really change the entire process of town meeting. Because if we didn't have any recommendation on 25 articles, you'd now be having a whole different process. I mean, you could do that, but meaning the select board would now have to, or somebody else would now have to make a positive motion on all those other articles, which is certainly can be done, but we didn't even address that point. That's simply creating consistency between reality and the current long-term reality, which we're comfortable with, and the charter seems desirable.
Herb has been waiting to
I
get
know
in.
Herb is next, and then
Sin-
Norm, and then John.
Since I'm the newest, can you give me a couple other examples of warrants that you'd, be looking at that aren't of the financial category?
The Harry rule.
Plastics.
I mean, our biggest duty is to take positions on the warrant. That's our biggest charge within the context of the charter. And like I said, it is supported in state law that we can look at any article and make a recommendation on it. And we don't want to be in the habit, I mean, we had one year where our recommendations weren't even put in the warrant, and a separate sheet had to be ginned up and put out there for everybody to look at. I think people of this town anyways like seeing it, like having it right there. And usually the finance committee's position is there and why, especially when we disagree with the select board. People want to see both sides of it. And if you sit back and know your town meetings, you know that if a finance committee votes 8-1 on something, someone stands up and says, why did that one not support this? And they give it up and give their reasons because people want to know. We haven't talked, part of what we're going to talk about after we've finished all of our stuff is,
Let's finish
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Oh,
it has to do with
Plastics ban.
special town meeting articles.
right. Norm.
Scott,
Scott, Norm. Mr. Norm.
that's much better. No, this is all very new to me. It seems to make it simple and keep it the way it's been in practice makes the most sense to me, because we would be nitpicking every single article. Does it have a financial implication? And you could go to first order, second order, third order implications, and you'd always find a dollar at the end of that trail. But I'll just note the chapter and section that I think Dana, so you can look it up later or have lawyers or consultants interpret it, but it's Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 39, Section 16, that empowers the Finance Committee with very broad authority to provide their opinion on all articles. So just have them look that up and do with it what you may.
Okay. John, and then back to you, Lou.
Okay.
Thanks. First of all, thanks for putting together your initial notes on this stuff. I really appreciate it. We appreciate it. Just very briefly on the approval of all the warrants. It's in our charter now to do that, to look at all warrants.
Yes.
It's clearly stated in the charter now. I don't even know why we're discussing it, but it's in there clearly. I think they should, personally, look at all warrants. On a couple notes on your stuff, we talked about the department heads, the moderator. Is there? I thought I read somewhere along the way. Maybe Dana might have more. If a certain FinCom member missed 4 or more meetings, that was reason for excusing that meeting. But I don't see that in the charter anywhere. Does anyone know that at all?
I think it's probably more broadly stated.
It's probably more
somewhere.
broadly stated in the
Not-
town
not nec-
agencies.
Not just directed at the finance
Yes,
committee.
right.
I think you
Okay.
may be finding it under appointed boards and committees.
Chapter,
I
whatever it
remember
is.
reading this anyway.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's
But
in
we'll
there.
remember it further down the line.
Rarely,
'Cause-
rarely exercised. but
Well, I
it's in
tried to exercise and I had a hell of a time doing it. And I had very good cause.
But they
anyway.
wouldn't let you go?
Huh? They wouldn't let me go, right. I just was wondering if I know I'd seen it somewhere, I just couldn't find out where.
It's probably in the section that is appointed town agencies.
Okay. And on the moderator also, it's in our charter that he must attend 4 FinCom meetings a year.
Yeah, we specifically did discuss that and decided that commenting on it was really not in our purview, that
Mhm.
that it was, could be, that certainly it could be, the question could be directed to the moderator as to what the moderator thinks about that line in there, but we
Mhm.
decided not to comment on it.
Is that currently happening?
Not in
That
Is that
does he-
current-
years.
Is that currently happening?
That the moderator has attended meetings, not during my tenure.
Not during mine either.
Nor mine.
Or mine. And I got you all beat.
Well, so maybe we remove it then.
How about we,
Enforce it.
or we could enforce it.
Just a discussion point.
Yeah.
We're not going to solve any.
And we did, because it's very clearly mentioned in the charter,
Yeah.
we did take it up and decided not to, in fact, make it a part of our formal comment.
Okay.
Anything else, John?
I agree with you on moving these budget timelines up to some, that's, January we've been talking about, but we'll talk about that later. The capital budget, we're talking about, or has been talked about, again, maybe Dana can put credence to this or not, is that the capital plan is the 5-year plan. It's just a plan, it's not the budget. The budget is the first year. There's been times where stuff has been put, all of a sudden shows up in the first year, and it's never even on the 5-year plan. At one time, there was a talk of a 2/3 vote at town meeting to put it in the first year.
Well, there's a whole, in an earlier version of my notes, I think I made a note next to part of that section, kind of saying, let's get a new legal opinion after the old legal opinion that I didn't agree with on the topic as to what in fact a 5-year capital plan is.
Right.
Because we did in fact get that topic came up, the question came up as to, because of the nuances in the charter to an extent of the wording there, and as I remember, in fact, I think I have a copy of town council's comments here somewhere, that we got back, it was brought to town council and they reported that each year's 5-year plan completely stood on its own, as opposed to the other point of view, which was that essentially it was a rolling 5 years, and you had to get the 2/3 vote on any change being made to that, looking at it as a rolling 5-year plan. And he, town council at the time, the company, the legal firm, rejected that point of view. I reject their rejected point of view personally, but that's, I think the topic of what constitutes a 5-year plan, not just that year's 5-year plan, but the treatment of a 5-year plan over time is a worthy topic to continue to try to flesh out what really the answer is to that.
And I think that's, some of our intent here is to tighten up this ambiguity in the language in it, so, okay, thank you, that's all my
Right.
questions.
Sandy, and then back to Lou, because he had another question.
You are correct. Town council was wrong.
Right.
And Dana
Right.
Dana and I
Right.
specifically can speak to this because this was our brainchild back, how many years ago? This 5-year capital plan.
95?
Yeah, and it was always intended that it would be a 5-year plan, that the town meeting would vote for the entirety of the 5-year plan, fund year 1, and then roll 2 through 4 up to 2 through 5, up to 2 through 4. And that any change to that part of the plan in the following year would require a 2/3 vote. And the whole point of it was because we were running into situations where town departments were jumping over each other in town meeting. There was no order, we'd be on a track to do thus and such project, and then all of a sudden another department would go, oh wait, we need this way more than they do. So this was the whole point of it, is to have an orderly process to make it difficult to change it. But with the idea and the knowledge that if the cause was just, town meeting would give you that 2/3 vote, and they always did. So I've had some words with town council about this, and they, whoever, really muddied up the whole process with what they had to say about it. But then, 6 months later, they might give you an entirely different opinion because that's what they do.
Okay.
Well, that's, yeah, exactly. So I definitely do think it's worthy of continued trying to get clear and get. I think that was one of the examples, amongst a handful, I suppose, of examples that have been frequently used in terms of trying to get clarity to components of the charter that don't lend themselves to town council or some other authority
Exactly.
reinterpreting what seems to be clear to some people.
I think that's one of our overall missions here is to take the interpretive dance out of the charter, and that if it's intended to mean something, then the words should say that. Everybody, having words that are, well, everybody understood it was going to be pink on Tuesdays. If it doesn't say pink on Tuesdays, then who cares what the intention was? You got to deal with the words, and I think I think that's one of our missions too, is to tighten things up and make clarity, and so that we're not running to the attorneys every 3 months to say, can you reinterpret this reinterpretation of the interpretation, and keep getting different answers. All right,
You're going to try the word shall again?
we're going to try the word shall again. We're back to Lou, your second one.
Thank you. Do you presently have the authority within your charter in terms of the capital plan and explaining the capital plan? And even, not just explaining in terms of $20 million will be spent on the church or this amount, but if we were to execute on this in the 3rd year, this is what it would mean to our budget, and this is what it would mean to our taxes. Is that within your prerogative?
I think it's probably viewed as being primarily within the prerogative of the Capital Outlay Committee, but I would, without having a discussion with the Finance Committee, I suspect that there would be that topic, that kind of specific topic would be a real discussion topic for us as to whether, because there's definitely been, I would say there's definitely been conversation that the more able finance committee is to actually contribute to the community, the better. And those would be types of things that might be opportunities.
Do you feel you have the authority to do that?
I don't,
Not,
I can't, I wouldn't
Okay.
comment on any kind of
All right.
use of the word authority.
Okay, one, and then two, and then back to Paul. Well-
I just, on the, we're trying to set aside what's been happening with charter, how it's been interpreted, how town council has weighed in the past. Can't do anything with what's happened. We have the right to have council, our own council, look at this charter and vet this charter before it goes to town meeting. And
Town vote.
town vote, I'm sorry, but how we do it when we get it done, and it's been vetted by our council and our consultants, we need to make it ironclad so we can't get those interpretations. I don't care what you say. I don't care, and if you don't like that opinion, we're gonna wait till next week and get a third opinion from the same legal firm.
Yeah.
Not gonna do it. We really have to be vigilant on our part, is to make sure that we choose our own law firm to vet this, vet it well, so it cannot be challenged. And I think when we look at, keep talking about the guardrails and compliance that we're gonna put together with it, that if we get into those challenges to the charter, what will those impacts be to whoever is challenging it?
Okay,
Paul?
and then I think I'm running the meeting. Yes, you, and then Paul.
So the clarity to the taxpayers about the implication of capital spending in the next 5 years is the main reason why I, for one, was stressing the importance of requiring a 5-year operating forecast. One of the most important inputs to that forecast is the amount of debt that is assumed in that 5-year capital plan. And I'm on the capital outlay committee. One of our recommendations was to include the sources of funds for all of those projects in the 5-year capital plan. Because if you don't know what's debt and what's free cash or other non-debt source, you don't know how much debt service you're going to include in that 5-year operating forecast. So it's that clarity to the taxpayer that is motivating both of those recommendations from finance and also from capital outlay. I mean, another option would be to have an explicit item in the charter that says that every capital project in its article needs to say the impact on the average taxpayer will be $38 in year 1, $48 in year 2 through 21, or whatever the debt service lasts. You could do that too.
You can't do it.
no, but you can generalize.
Right, that's it.
You can generalize.
Yeah.
Okay, Paul.
Just to kind of tighten up a couple of these things, wording-wise. When you say recommendation, are we talking the vote that the committee takes, 8-0, 9-1, or 8-1, 8-1?
Well, we're talking,
Does that
as,
qualify, or do you want a narrative?
well, as Dana commented, that it's traditionally, Finance Committee makes some additional narrative statement
Yeah.
with their vote on each article.
Right.
It may not be lengthy, it likely is not lengthy, but
But a narrative statement that would appear in the warrant.
yes, that it would appear in the warrant, that's correct.
In addition to the vote count?
In addition to the vote count.
Right now, it's just the vote count.
No, it's
No,
the
no,
recommend,
no.
oh, you're incorrect, it's,
Vote count is included though, right?
vote count is
Yeah.
included,
The
as
count.
are the
You're
recommendations.
not named.
The roll call.
So you make them, so you want the recommendation to in fact state the vote count and a potential narrative.
Again, continued practice as to what we do currently.
That's in the charter now.
It's been
That's
going
in the
on for
charter
years.
now.
Well,
And
but
in the warrant
it's
now.
not always in, every warrant article doesn't have a narrative. It does have the vote,
we-
I understand, but.
Yeah, we had,
Well, now, let me just ask one
Finance Committee-
example. Last year, you voted against the article to create a historic preservation award, something dear to my heart, right?
Let's not
And
make this
I-
personal, I don't wanna hear personal.
No.
Go get him, Paul.
But the
No,
Finance
stop it,
Committee-
Richard.
The finance committee voted 8 to 1 or 9 to nothing, I don't remember.
It wasn't 9, because we didn't have
Wasn't
9.
nine, definitely
Right.
not.
7 to something.
So, but there was no explanation as to why you voted, it just showed it as an 8 to 1. So I don't believe that it's always the case that,
It's not a requirement. We're not making it a requirement. We don't have it as a requirement. That to do so, we need to vote, and the vote by roll call is in the warrant. We make an additional narrative comment to the extent that we believe that there is a narrative comment to be
so if
But you do
warranted.
that on the floor, or you do that in the?
No, we
It's
do
in
it
the warrant.
in
It is
the
in
warrant.
Yeah, okay.
It's in the warrant. No, on the floor, we just make the
You read it.
whatever, whether it's a
I gotta come up
positive,
for
make
this.
we just make the motion in general.
but I'm just trying to get it clarified as to what we would actually put the language in the charter. And I think it's important that we would say, you're gonna recommend on every article, and that recommendation would include,
May
may
include.
include, would include,
May include,
may
Must
include,
include.
right.
both components, right? The vote and a narrative. Is that fair?
It will include the vote, and we believe it should include a vote by roll call, and may include a narrative comment.
But you would stay with the same arrangement that if it's a negative vote and a negative comment, it's appropriate that the moderator would ask for a positive motion, not a motion from you, is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct, yes. Current
Okay.
practice.
And then I want a couple more very minor points here, but I think I heard you say on the article about a 921, estimating, you got estimated expenses here in the narrative, but you also said revenues, is that right? Were you talking about estimating revenues and expenses?
Likely, yes. I
Because
don't,
Yeah.
revenues isn't included here in your language, I
No,
don't believe. But you believe-
revenues are good.
So it would be preferable to include revenues.
Certainly, the more detailed, the more information communicated
Right.
at each time that the town is trying to communicate to the taxpayer, the better.
Okay, we're all on board with that. 92456, this question about the budget. My only point being, you said here in your text, the budget should include a 5-year capital plan. How about if you would say it should include the capital?
Oh, we're not
plan?
going to parse words here, Paul.
No,
No,
but it's-
Paul, we're not
there's
going to
an
do that.
issue
No, no,
here.
no, no,
The issue is, there's a capital plan that's prepared by the Capital Outlay Committee, of which is near and dear again to my heart, as well as Scott's. But a capital plan might mean that the Finance Committee could have its own capital plan, different from the 5-year plan that is allegedly the capital outlays plan. So I think if we say it's important.
I'm happy to have you wordsmith it, that the intent is that it be the approved capital plan
Okay.
coming from the town.
Bravo.
Yes, Dana?
There was one year where we didn't get a capital plan. It was the first year we had COVID and we were outside that year, but Finance Committee, a week before town meeting, didn't have a capital plan. And we voted one. And then suddenly we had a capital plan. As soon as the Finance Committee took a position and voted, we voted last year's plan plus the new year added on. And that's what we submitted. And then it was like, oh, no, we have one. And they came up with one, so things do happen that way.
There's certainly also been times, even in my relatively short time on the Finance Committee, there have been occasions where negotiations between town administration, select board, and Finance Committee have gotten very late on exactly what the capital plan that was going to be published was gonna look like. I mean, it was only, it was only, what, 2 years ago that there were items that were very late in getting in as a result of late conversations between all of the parties as to what everybody could live with.
There's no sewer system for 3 years in a row at one point.
That's right.
Just for clarification, two very minor points, but is it the case, what do you think about the finance directors? I understand the importance of having them involved, but the offering or including or a designee of the finance director in terms of the finance director should attend, or could he appoint or she appoint a designee as a representative of the office in your meetings?
Question, who would the finance director be designating? Because basically there's,
Person in
There-
their
there's-
office,
The town accountant,
town accountant?
that is the town accountant.
Tax
The
collector?
finance
I don't
director is
know.
the town
or
accountant.
the assistant town accountant, or the tax collector, I don't know.
I think they want the person in charge.
Can I answer it then?
Sure. I was just saying, are you kidding? I'm gonna have my clerical assistant come to the finance committee.
I think in this community, at this size administrative function, that it should be the finance director. It should be the senior person in the finance area. Whatever terminology, if you guys change the name of the top finance person, but that's who it should be.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments or questions on the finance committee?
Comments anybody wants to make?
On finance, and then we will, I guess you guys will close your finance committee meeting, then you'll
Okay.
become a member of the public and can give other testimony.
Just one. Actually, two on the finance committee. First of all, we didn't discuss it. I don't know why. Maybe I was having a bad day or something, but finance committee has term limits. We're one of two committees in town that has term limits. We don't know. If you can name the other committee, you get a gold star.
Cultural
There you
Cultural
go.
Council.
Gold star, but most people don't
State
know that,
statute.
and they get 20-year appointments. We have to go 9 years, and then we have to get off for a year. And we have people that are approaching that and lose members. And then we have to go through the process of trying to replace members, which has been a real bear. In the 22 years that I've been on the committee, I haven't had a full committee very many times. In fact, I can remember the very first vote I ever took with 9 people present. And we remarked on it this year when we got 9, up to 9 for the first time in a couple of years. So in 22 years, and it's nothing against the moderator. We have the best moderator in the world. I would never ask for another one. But on that particular point, our goal is to have it happen 30 days. I mean, the moderator has 2 weeks to advertise it and recommend somebody. It is in the charters of other towns that if that doesn't happen after 30 days, the finance committee appoints someone themselves. If you don't like that idea, we're not opposed to you coming up with whoever should make that appointment. But our goal is to make sure that in a timely fashion, we get somebody in there. And it's not months, it's 1 month.
Why is the moderator make the,
What's that?
why is the moderator?
It's in the charter. And it's in the charter in most towns. I mean, it's,
It follows, the moderator owns the town meeting. The finance committee advises the town meeting. So it follows that those would track. You don't really want the select board appointing the finance committee because they're going to probably, in the normal,
Stack the deck.
people who will rubber stamp whatever they want to do, and that's exactly what you don't want from a finance committee. I mean, the nature of the relationship is adversarial by its nature. Selectmen want this whole list of things, and somebody's gotta talk to the town meeting about whether it's a good idea or not. So they're the watchdogs.
Yeah, I think it's set up for independence, just
Yes.
exactly
Yeah.
that, that it
Yes,
that it
check
was set
and
up that
balance.
way for
Yeah.
that purpose.
If I can,
I was,
yeah,
but I was going to say that we have had some brief conversations in our committee about term limits. Should there be term limits? Should anybody have term limits? Should everybody have term limits? So we have had that conversation. It is a topic that we are going to readdress as to what we think. Richard?
it goes to the point of so many items in the charter that have not been enforced. There's so many things in the charter that have not been followed. And that's where compliance has to come in. And right now, we don't have a mechanism for compliance. And if something's not being done by whomever, select board, town administrator, town moderator, it has to be done. And if you're not gonna do it, because you're not gonna adhere to the charter, we shouldn't change the charter. If you're not gonna adhere to the charter, there should be a compliance involved where it requires you to follow what the charter is, rather than saying, well, if you're not gonna follow it, we'll change it so you don't have to do that anymore.
Well,
That's not appropriate.
that's right. There are a variety of things that we would have, could have commented on in here that didn't, because the point of view was exactly that. This is a compliance, whatever the particular topic was, this is a compliance issue, not a charter issue. And so there were a variety of topics like that that were not included here for that reason, because compliance is not really compliance. Figuring out compliance, you guys are going to figure out, I guess.
But if there isn't some sort of out for us, if we don't have some way to go on and have it go on 4 months, 6 months, a year,
Right.
that we need an out. And
That's where-
however you create that out, we need it.
Yeah, and that, we hope to have.
So you've got
We have
our,
that
right.
out
you've got our
here.
point of view on that.
We have that out here. We have a resignation from this commission. We choose a replacement
By
Right.
state law.
Yeah.
by state
Right.
law. And that's,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And it,
No,
like
there
I said,
isn't.
it is being done in other towns that the finance committee themselves, generally the way it works, the chairman has already talked with the moderator. They've discussed 2 or 3 people. The moderator, to his credit, wants the chairman involved in making that decision. The chairman usually meets those people and has a 1, 2, or 3, in order of how many we need. And that's generally what happens. So we anticipate that if this were to be in the charter, that would continue to happen, and the chairman would already know after 30 days what ones they would want to bring to the board. And we think that if this is on the books, it might inspire the moderator to make those choices in a timely fashion, so that we don't have to do anything. If we never have to take that vote, we've accomplished our goal. Our goal is to get the person in there
Which is,
within the 30
but all of
days.
that conversation is separate from the term limit, which is what you started with.
Right,
So the term limits, and I don't think we, so I think we understand that if somebody doesn't get a wiggle in it,
He
you
brought
get,
up the-
you get to pick your own. And yes, we've also had conversations about creating some type of charter compliance type of function, town agency, something. And we haven't gotten there yet. We have 2 people who are looking to do some crafting, and we're going to get some information.
we have a draft.
And we're also,
Sandy has put something together, and I'm
We're
waiting to hear
also-
from our consultants.
and we're going to get our consultants we have asked them to, what towns have some kind of a charter thing. Provincetown does, Sandwich, I think,
I think you said Bourne.
and Bourne. So I think those
Provincetown.
are the 3. So they're gonna get some words to us. You can then put it in, and we'll come up with something that we will be proposing.
I did send you a copy of the draft. Did you get it?
Probably, it's yeah.
Yeah, I think you were on copies.
So,
Okay,
all right, are we done with finance?
we done with
Finance,
I have a
finance.
couple other things, but it's not finance.
That's what I'm saying. Finance, are
Okay.
we done with
We can
finance?
send everybody if you want.
Sit back. We good.
You mean-
Motion to adjourn. Second.
You're gonna stay
All in
here.
favor?
Aye. We're adjourned.
Thank you very
so
much.
for
Appreciate it.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, very appreciate it.
Well, thank you for your report. It's been fun for us all.
Best,
Okay.
best meeting yet.
I know. You want someone else?
Good to see you there, Tina.
Good to see
All right.
you.
Thank you.
It's been a while.
Hey, Gina.
Thank you so much.
Gina, let me catch up with you.
With me?
Yep,
Oh, are you coming?
yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
7 o'clock.
Thank you all for coming.
Okay, there's 7 o'clock right here, right?
John,
That's why we're asked.
727 is the absence, if you want to find it.
7-2.
Is the unexcused absence of 4 or more meetings.
Oh.
727.
Oh, okay. I knew it was somewhere in there. Thanks, Ann.
It's in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Continuing business.
Yeah.
I'll ask for public comments at 6, section 6. It is, for the board, it is already 7:36. Do we want to get into elected positions or hold that for another meeting?
I'd rather hold it to have a
Yeah.
full discussion on it.
That sounds good.
So it looks like there's someone that wants to comment.
He'll get his opportunity.
He can just wait.
He can wait.
He's a very
You
patient
know,
man.
No, I was thinking how
we're
long would
we're
that
talking
take?
process
I
here.
think we can make him wait until the term limits out.
That's
Or
a
he
good
falls-
idea.
or
I
he
like
falls
that.
asleep.
Oh, I meant, how long would he be talking?
Oh, how long?
Okay.
As long as you want.
Section 5, we need to formally accept the resignation of Tony London. If someone would make that move.
I make a motion, we accept the resignation of Tony.
All right,
I'll second.
Herb first, Sandy second. Any conversation
Discussion.
or discussion? Same thing?
Did she state her reason for resigning?
Time issues. She just didn't have the time, and she had some, and her family was, she had family issues, so, and timing. Anything else? And it has been given to the town clerk, so the town clerk has accepted the resignation, so it's done. So, any other discussion? All is in favor of accepting the resignation? Aye. Any opposed? Richard, you oppose?
General principle.
General principles, okay, so we got, that's a 7-1-0. Okay,
We do need to find a new
I
member.
can get to that. Good Lord, will you guys calm down?
What do you think, you boss?
Yes, I do, I'm chair. You want to be chair, go
We're
for
all
it.
boss.
No, you're not. Okay. I would appreciate if everybody puts their little thinking caps on and think about who we could possibly vote onto this commission. And I don't want to hear names right now.
No, I'm not, I have a question.
What, and I would like you to talk, if you come up with some name, talk to that person and see if they're interested, see if they can make the meetings before you propose a name. So, Richard?
I have a question of how we're going to do it. You see, if each person brings in 1 or 2 names, and we
People-
have 16 people, how are we going to make a choice?
I think we discuss it and choose the person that probably is the best fit. I don't think we need
I'll
to
make it
interview,
simple.
I
Bring
mean,
any names?
I doubt we're gonna have 16 names.
Yeah.
We'll be lucky if we find
We'll
one.
be lucky if
Oh,
we,
no, I'm sure you'll find one.
so,
Yeah,
that's what I'd,
Oh,
do that. That would be great, so that,
and no.
and what? And know what?
All right, you two stop. All right.
Yeah, we gotta stop this.
I know it.
I want,
didn't
you don't have to, it's
say a
on your
word.
face.
It's right on your face.
It's on your face. Okay, so is that okay?
Yes.
So that within the next,
I used to teach high
hopefully we can
school.
have some people by next meeting that might be interested.
Yeah.
I have sent an email invitation to the select board chair to pick a Thursday and come here and talk to us. So that has been done.
Is that the chair or the rest of the board?
I said, the chair, okay. I extended an invitation to the chair of the select board to have the select board members
Thank you.
come here. It's all of them. Okay? Next week, the Collins Group expects to have that memo they talked about the select board, ready for us. So next week will be a select board agenda, and they will have a memo, ideas that they have, et cetera. And our posting is now being,
Are they
Sir?
on remote or anything? Collins?
not
next
today.
week?
Next week they will be. And many thanks to Natasha for stepping up and posting our agenda, because we got into a little Twitter over Thursday at noon. So some people were on their muscle, and Natasha has stepped up to bail us out. So I'm very appreciative of that. So, Dana,
How you doing?
sir,
Public comment? Or,
that's what I am, comment.
I think Tony mentioned it at a select board meeting, that he had posted the budget timeline
Yep.
on the website. I couldn't find it. Has anyone found it? Let me know where it is.
Look
I
in-
think I have it.
The draft, that what we were talking about in here?
No, it's a town
Oh,
budget.
the formal.
What-
It's
yeah.
in the agenda, the packet, a select board packet within the last week or two.
Well, was it in the packet?
It's in a packet.
Yeah, but he said it was posted on the website.
I can't address that,
Okay.
but it's in a packet.
Okay, but
Because
anyway,
I have it. I
Okay.
printed it.
I'd like
I'll
to see
look
the
for
town.
it, John, see if I
Yeah,
can get it.
okay, thank you.
Okay. I know I can't find our meeting minutes anywhere, so I'm not surprised we
What do
can't
you want,
find this
everything?
either.
Oh, it's ridiculous. One question,
Sir,
coming back to
ma'am.
the resignation and the vacancy, we also need to designate a new clerk.
Yes. Is there, and that, well, that'll have to be next week because it's not on the agenda.
Correct, yeah.
So I think that if anybody would like to find it in their hearts to be the clerk, which isn't a lot of work.
And I will not be able to be here next week.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
But I think people need to think about who's going to be, if we, somebody stepping up to be clerk. No, I know. All right. Can we go to Dana now? So what other things do you like to,
I just want, first of all, I thank you for the opportunity to come before you. I mean, it's really kind of neat that the selectmen have invited us in, and you guys are inviting us in, and the public is starting to see us again. Thank you. I wanted to just bring up, Sandy and I were on a subcommittee once years ago that dealt with elected officials' salaries. And I have two things on that. One is that was done through special legislation, and it was not done, it was voted to send our stuff to special legislation to get it into the charter. And it's never appeared anywhere in the charter. All of the rules that we wrote up about elected officials not receiving salaries, not receiving benefits, and what the rules were, it's a $10,000 threshold, and department heads were exempt, and things like that. That's never appeared in the charter anywhere, and that's just an example.
it's not in a bylaw either, you're right.
Any place we've done special legislation has never showed up anywhere in either our bylaws or the charter after the fact.
Do you have that special legislation?
I-
A copy?
Yeah.
Could you send that to me and
Sure.
and I could leaflet it in
Yeah.
keeping with we should go through the chair bid and et cetera?
Yeah, we had a three-person
I remember this.
subcommittee with 3 members of the public and 3 members of the finance committee.
I
hashed it
remember
out.
this,
Yeah.
yes, I do remember this. If you would just provide that,
We had a subcommittee?
What's that?
We had a subcommittee?
Yeah, we eat subs every week. No, we did have a subcommittee of 3 and 3, and we
Yeah, I
had
remember
meetings
the
and
issue, but I don't
posted them, and
remember- I don't remember the subcommittee.
if you would just
yeah,
send the.
I'll send it to you. But
so that we
just
can-
in general, that's just one example of
But
that.
but there's stuff like that.
topic.
I know that, so we don't generally send special well,
We've done it.
we've been doing it recently through the ballot.
In the last decade or so, we've done it a couple of times, and I can't remember other examples, but I know we've done it before.
If you would send that,
And
Dana.
I just want to make sure that that one in particular, because it tells people exactly, and unless you can go back to that year and find it in one of those little books that you can't read, that it's there, nobody would ever know why. I mean, the state law says if you're elected and you get a stipend of any kind, you're entitled to benefits. In our town, we became the 8th town in the Commonwealth not to allow that.
And we did that through a bylaw. Or
We
maybe
did that through.
it was an article.
We sent it
It
to,
was an article.
we sent it to the state to be approved, and they approved it. We did that to
Okay,
speed
how-
it up.
I get it.
So,
I'm just trying to get to the point is, you're gonna provide that document.
Yeah,
And we're gonna
that
track
one.
it down
Yeah,
and see where it
you-
is.
And see if there's
That's
other
very
ones.
interesting.
was it a home rule petition to the legislature?
Yeah,
And it was a charter change at the time.
yeah.
Unless it,
I remember the issue.
It was also took 3 years to implement, because we had to wait till each person finished their term
Right,
before,
right.
so that each person that was elected would know that they weren't gonna get the benefit.
and if I
There was a name
remember,
to that bill.
Yes.
and I remember, if I remember correctly, we, town meeting approved it when they found out that the moderator was on the town insurance. That raised eyebrows.
Well, we took over $109,000
Yeah, we did.
out of the budget, once that happened.
And
because
if I
there
recall,
were-
we also
There were
had
7
to,
people getting that benefit.
and we had to
So-
clarify that it was part-time, so that the town clerk is elected, but is a full-time position and shouldn't
And
lose
that's
benefits.
all in the, what we sent as that package,
Why
so.
don't you send that to me, and
I will do that.
I will track that down.
I thought you'd like that one.
Yeah,
It's the Wayback Machine.
yeah.
And then, the other one that's related to that, I have one other one, but the other one that's related to that is the elected officials' pay. Once that happened, the finance committee kind of took over that aspect of elected officials' compensation. We made the recommendation originally that said that all elected officials would get $1,000, except the select board, they would get $2,400. And once we took away their benefits, we said there should be some compensation to allow them to help with their benefits or do whatever they want with it. And that's why today the selectmen get $2,400. And if that was ever gonna change, it would be a recommendation of the finance committee to change it. So I asked this body, you are elected,
I don't think we're
what is,
getting.
well, it's gonna be our recommendation at town meeting.
No, I don't think so. I think it's something
We-
we can decide. We are entirely independent with our budget and our funding.
Yeah,
And
but
that
we
if
can
anybody-
also recommend it.
If anybody puts in for a stipend.
No, no, I'm just,
I don't think there's an overwhelming
Oh, I think-
desire for this
yeah.
board to be compensated.
Are all the elected officials and all the?
yeah, we added the library trustees who never got a dime, we added them to it.
That's in the.
We took the
yeah,
water commissioners
Water
and brought him
people.
up to 1,000. We took the moderator and brought him up to 1,000. We just gave everybody
Can you
$1,000.
increase the non-elected to 1,000?
You get, you already,
Yeah,
that's
sit
a
down.
road you don't want to go down,
No, but
sir.
we could
You don't
make
wanna
the-
go down
We
there.
could make the Board of Assessors elected.
Well, that's not a topic on the table.
It'd be terrible. Used to be.
I don't know.
You can get the same. So that was just a discussion point. Special town meetings, we do have a line item in the charter that says that the finance committee can remove articles from a special
Yes.
town meeting if it has a financial background to it. Except that we ran into a problem where a special town meeting was gonna create the position, a new position, 2 new positions, and not fund it. And then the next annual town meeting would fund it. And we said that, well, we wanted to take that out, the finance committee did, because, and they ruled, the town council ruled at that point in the meeting that, well, you can't take it out because it's no charge on the article. But it strongly had a financial implication to the town, and we weren't allowed to take it out. And we would have, and let it come up at the annual with the money that, so people could see the both side by side, the cost and the effect. whether you take away that provision or whether you clarify that provision, it should be considered. And I can say that, again, going back to state law has basically interpreted that, at least in case laws that have been fought, that any article can have a financial implication on a town. So to say that it has no dollars that particular year, if it has a future cost or it's opening the door for other things, it could have a few financial implications. So we feel that it should be in there, but it should be made clear that if it's something that's going to be discussed in the very next town meeting, that
Will have a financial implication.
will have a financial. And that one was a pretty big one. And there's been cases where 4 firefighters were almost done through a special at one point, and it would have been the same thing. They would have created the positions and then funded them in the next meeting. So that even is worse than it used to be, that positions were all in separate articles. That was just approving it with no dollars. And then later, oh yeah, it's in the budget now. We have all.
Can I ask for clarification on that?
Sure.
So in that particular case, the hiring of the 2 people without funding and doing it the next year, who actually pulled it? Or you wanted to pull it?
We wanted to pull it. The Finance Committee has a rule that says
No,
that.
I get it, but who made it? Was it town council or the select board said we're not gonna pull it?
Town council.
Town council, we brought it up at the town meeting and said that right out, we wanted to take it out. And the moderator went down and spoke with, I think it was Giorgio at the time, came back and said, well, there's no charge on this, so you can't take it out.
And you see, in my opinion, that should be clarified before a town meeting. That's not something that should be decided on
It
town
shouldn't be
meeting
in the
floor.
warrant at all.
Correct.
Right.
And that needs to be, and if we can add some clarification to that, I'd love to see it, because that should not happen at town meeting. Town meeting's confusing enough for a lot of people. Those who go to town meeting understand it, but there's so many people who come, that come to the first or second and third town meeting. What the heck are they talking about? Why are they pulling that? What's the whole idea? No clue. But I think that is awful that it happens at town meeting. And if you want to pull it, that should be decided long before the night of town meeting.
We
Except
tried.
our charter, or the select board, it is their warrant. So they can put something, vote the warrant. They open the warrant, they close the warrant.
Yeah, but I think this says
In-
that there won't be an article unless the town, the select board and the finance committee.
Meeting
agree to
separately.
it.
No, I think that it's agree to it if there's, even if if it has financial implications.
Right.
So it's to expand what financial implications mean, that if there is a possibility of a financial implication, they should have a say in it.
Current or future.
Yep,
That's what you need right there. Current or binding on a future town.
I think
meeting.
that's the type
Yeah.
of wording you'd be looking for.
But it
Okay.
shouldn't, the point is that it shouldn't be in the warrant in the first place if the finance committee.
That should be decided ahead of time.
Exactly.
It should
Yes.
never
Right.
get to town meeting.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Right.
We
Okay.
voted and it wasn't allowed.
If we were to think about a fall town meeting, you'd want the same provisions, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a special, right?
But we're actually, we've.
Unless it's an annual, semi-annual.
No, if it
Yeah.
was specified as there
Right.
will be, as it used to be,
Right.
one for, you know,
Right.
the annual for the budget and a special for zoning and bylaws and that sort of
Right.
thing.
We have had that conversation, so we're still noodling a bit with that.
And that concludes my items.
Thank you, Dana.
I thought they were important.
No, they are,
I'm very
they're
glad you
good,
took the
they're
time to listen.
good conversation.
Thank you for coming.
Anything else before the meeting?
My pleasure. Good evening.
Good to see you.
Don't stay too
Safe
late.
travels.
Yeah,
Yeah. Not
thank
yet.
you. Thank
We're
you
here
for
till
coming.
Christmas.
All right.
Oh, goody.
So I'll see you in
Is this what you wanted to hear?
Avoid
Okay.
natural catastrophes.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Give that to Judith for a second. All those in favor?
Aye. Faster. Did you
want
make
to
the
film
8 o'clock work?
We did. 7:54.
Oh, I meant to say, did someone shut that off?
Yeah, shut that off before anything else.
I should have said it again.